immediately the smell was already floating down from the south side of the building to the north side of the building.
Okay.
I smelled it immediately when I walked in. I thought it was like something probably died or something, and we just haven't found it.
It's apparently not at all unusual for sewage to seep out of cracks in the ground after a major rainfall, and that this is not the first time that this has happened.
I've only seen it like 3 times as far as I can remember. I don't know any times before that, but it's bad.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup.
This is Ashley with Status Coup.
On the ground.
In Philadelphia.
Flint, Michigan. East Palestine, Ohio. Please support the leading independent news outlet on the ground.
Covering what the corporate media covers up. Hey, this is Ashley Bishop with Status Coup. I am joined today by Yakisha Lopez, an Amazon worker at the JFK 8 facility who was on shift yesterday morning when around 9 or 10, a raw sewage leak from the restrooms flooded workstations and machinery on the first floor. As a result, workers were refusing to work because there was sewage at or near their workstations.
It smells so bad.
The shift is still coming out from downstairs and they don't want to send us home.
So after massive collective action of multiple people posting on the VA board and marches on the boss, talking about the immense heat and their poor resolution to solve the sewage problem and the horrible smell problem being to open the vents, which brought in the more heat during the heat advisory, and also spread the smell of human feces and waste. Collective action and our union fought, and so the building is now closed.
Night shift was delayed from 6 p.m. until at least 11:45 last night. People were sent home. Some workers even reported feeling sick during their shifts. So thank you again, Yakisha, for being here with us and taking the time to let us know what was going on. So can you tell viewers what happened at work yesterday? What happened when you entered your shift?
Well, I entered my shift at, well, first of all, thank you for having me here.
Of course. It's our pleasure.
And second, what happened was I walked in at my MET time. It was actually my day off yesterday, but MET, I had to come in. At 6:45, I walked into the inbound side to catch the elevator to go upstairs, and immediately the smell was already floating down from the south side of the building to the north side of the building.
Okay.
I smelled it immediately when I walked in. I thought it was like something probably died or something, and we just haven't found it. But
yeah,
it was really bad. I ended up going upstairs to the second floor, and I was on the south side. So that's where the smell was. But it was just the flooding was on the first floor by the docks, the inbound docks that we get the items to come into the building.
Okay.
Like, come in that side of the building. That's where it was. That bathroom downstairs, as far as I know, was flooded, and that's also next to a break room, which was really gross.
Okay, I can imagine. That doesn't sound like a very restorative break if you're next to like where an actual like raw sewage flood is.
Yeah, after a couple hours, they just unassigned people from their stations and sent them all the way to stand up and told them you can sit in the break room, just wait, basically. It was right before like the actual break too, so it was shut everybody down and gone home. But they didn't do that.
Okay, so they had people continue to work as there was, like raw sewage, like at or near their workstations.
On the first floor, it was near their stations, but the second floor, obviously, it's not going to reach up there. It could have if they had gone any further into plumbing, I guess, but it didn't. But the smell did, because the ventilation went all over the building. They eventually opened the fire windows. I don't know. They never open those windows unless like the fire alarm goes off. And I was told that the blockage was caused by like people throwing clothes down the plumbing or something. And I was like, I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay.
It was really weird. But if it was the case, that means that they're not actually like keeping up with the maintenance and the plumbing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure. I mean, that sounds like such a strange excuse. To me, it kind of sounds like, well, we had this big like leak of raw sewage, but it's the workers' fault. It's not our fault. We certainly didn't do anything. I don't know why anyone would be flush. Like I don't work at JFK 8. I don't know why anyone would be flushing clothing in the restrooms. So that sounds crazy.
I don't know how that would even manage to flush down a toilet, but
Yeah, those are my thoughts too. And for some context, that would be kind of counter to the official reasoning that Amazon is giving. The JFK 8 facility was built on a swamp preserve marshland. So, from what I've been told, it's apparently not at all unusual for sewage to seep out of cracks in the ground after a major rainfall, and that this is not the first time that this has happened. This is just maybe the worst, instance of this happening, because again, this like thoroughly contaminated, people's workstations where they need to be. So I guess I would ask if there's any other information on that. Again, like we've heard that this is not the first time that this has happened.
not the first time. It might have happened other times in my entire 4 years there, but I've only seen it like 3 times as far as I can remember. I don't know any times before that, but it's bad. One of the first times I remember it happening, it was on the first floor still, and it was just flooded the entire, from the bathroom on the same side, but like next to the stations, like directly next to the stations, that whole area flooded onto the robotics floor where the drives go to the stations to bring the work to the pickers and stowers. They didn't send us home that day because I guess it wasn't that bad, but this time it was so bad, even I got a headache. And a friend of mine who was on the 3rd floor on the other side of the building was texting me that he could smell it all the way on the other side of the building upstairs.
Oh my God. And this is a big facility too. I mean, this is not a small building.
No, it's huge. It takes me like 15 minutes to walk from one side to the other side.
Okay. And someone on the other side on the 3rd floor was smelling it. I mean, that is not a good situation to be working in. And you had mentioned as well that, it was so bad that they opened the fire windows, which, as you said, doesn't typically happen. It's hot out. It's extremely hot out. It's hot and humid in New York City, where you guys are in Staten Island. It is similarly the same weather. I would imagine that just made, for even worse conditions, because I think the rationale is we're going to open the windows. We're trying to, rid the place of the smell, and we're also trying to dry things out. But you're also letting in the humidity and the heat from outside.
Yeah, I think they didn't realize it was just going to make it worse. They didn't help at all. Luckily, once I moved further down the hall, it didn't really hit where I was in the back, but it did start to before they like let us leave, which was at like 1:30. We all left the building.
Okay.
And it had been that way, I'm assuming, since night shift. I'm not sure, but I was there at 6:45 when I walked in. I walked out at 1:30, and I was like, "This is ridiculous. We should have all been sent home."
Okay.
I talked to a manager, and I was like, "They finally opened the windows." He's like, "Yeah, we're trying to like air it out, I guess." He didn't really have any answers for me.
I mean, yeah. So we had also heard that night shift was delayed. I believe night shift starts at 6. Was delayed until at least 11:45. Have you heard anything else about that? Do you know like when people started their shifts after all of this?
I think if there was anyone going into work, it was after 11:45. Which, to be honest, I was already asleep after that because I was exhausted.
Sure. That makes sense.
Prime week really takes it out of you.
I can imagine.
It's terrible. First of all, forcing me to work extra time, and then forcing me to work extra time in a building that smells like worse than my turtle. Have you ever smelled a stinky turtle tank? That was way worse.
That is not good. That is not good. Those are, and your turtle tank is contained within, it is a contained thing. A sewage leak at work clearly is not contained. So what do you know about anything that's happened today? Have you spoken with anyone there today? Can you tell us if there's been, an improvement?
I have friends who work this shift today. I haven't heard anything about it. I can probably find out, but as far as I know, people are at work right now. They're just like, Amazon doesn't really communicate very well with its employees. It took them, after I left, my friend and I went somewhere, and we were like, an hour after we leave, we're going to get a text message that the building is going to be like closed until further notice. And exactly an hour later, we're at the mall just waiting. And then like we get them a text message, temporary site closure, I think it was.
Okay. So you guys know, in a sense, you've been able to identify the patterns of miscommunication from Amazon.
For sure. There was one time like a really bad snowstorm during peak, and they still have had us come in. People coming from all directions, from Queens, the Bronx, which is really far away.
Yeah.
It was terrible weather, and it was just, why are we at work?
Yeah, and for people who haven't been to the facility, I've been to the facility before, covering the Amazon Labor Union rallies, several years ago now. It's a trek. Coming from outside of Staten Island, it is a trek. You have to take the subway, and then from the subway you have to take the ferry, and then from the ferry you have to take the bus, and it's a lot. And I can't imagine having to do that, going into work.
Yeah.
During a snowstorm.
I live 10 minutes from the warehouse, but I have friends who I'll like be texting, and they'll get home at like 8 o'clock after clocking out at like 5:45.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is an insane commute, and you have to also tack onto that, just getting into the facility before you get there is going to add a similar amount of time too. So that is an exceedingly long day.
Yes, it is. I feel for the people who live really far.
Yeah.
Like, it's fair that they have to come all the way here and deal with this crap. Some of them were already at the building. And then they were like, what are we supposed to do? Like, now we have to go home? Like, it's not fair to them. The building should have closed from the minute that smell popped up in the first place.
Yeah, and especially given that, as we've heard from people, and you've said that you've seen it at least a few times, this isn't the first time that this has happened, and it would seem that there is, a structural reason for this to happen. It very much does not sound to me like the reason that this has happened is because people are flushing clothes in the restrooms.
That probably would have been a reaction, like a result earlier on, not now. It's got to be some other issue going on that they're not telling us. There's no way that all of a sudden happened now, because that would have been happening more often if that was the case. If it was true. Like, yeah, people are just gonna come in. They hate their job, right? But they're gonna come like throw shit down the toilet. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're fine.
No, like random piece of clothing down the toilet. It's like, wouldn't they just have to come out of the bathroom without that piece of clothing then? Like a shirt? Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. And again, it just sounds like an excuse to blame workers for something that clearly is an issue on Amazon's end. And, given all of that, do you have anything else that you would want to add about their response to this? I mean, you've said a lot about how it's largely inadequate. Is there anything else that you would want to add?
It's the fact that they take entirely too long to take action every single time something happens. The other day, the fire alarm went off, for example. They took 15 minutes to update us. We should have just evacuated the minute the alarm started going off. That's what they taught us in school. If there's a fire, I'm not going to wait for y'all to tell me to like wait at my station. Like, I'm going to leave.
That is crazy.
Like a year or two ago, I was right next to it. I had gone to the bathroom. I was down
wow.
on the floor by the compactor had got caught on fire, and I had been in the bathroom. I bolted out of the bathroom and I went to grab my stuff, and then it took them like 5+ minutes to start evacuating everybody.
That is insane. It sounds like they just don't have any kind of like reasonable emergency plans, as you said. Like when you're in school,
and they do these drills every once in a while.
Okay.
And then like the alarm goes off for whatever reason, and we stay at our stations. Like they have serious lack of response time.
That is exceedingly dangerous.
Yes.
I mean, as you're saying, there has already been a fire. You were very close to it when that happened a couple of years ago, 1 or 2 years ago. If that happened again, and they're having people wait at their stations for 5 minutes, that is crazy. And it sounds like a recipe for like a Triangle Shirtwaist Fire part 2 for the 21st century.
It's just they need to work on their communication with their employees and their exit plans for when there's actual emergencies. You can drill it all you want, but if you're going to keep me in the building when there's a fire, you're not going to keep me in the building. I'm going to walk out of the building. I don't care if I get UPT. I care about me, and I'm going to drag everybody else with me. I'm not going to let, like, if people are standing there, I'm going to be like, get out. Forget the UPT write-up that you might get. Your life is more valuable than like a burning building. Okay.
Yeah.
There's some issues that we've marched on them to fix. Some of them have been successful. Others they have been dragging their feet on. I've talked to safety. I've talked to the management myself about stations being broken, the conveyor belt, the slides that we bring our totes onto when we pack are broken. I've gotten injured on those belts. I've scratched my back. I've scratched my arms. I have scars on my arms and my legs from all the injuries I've got on Amazon. They just drag their feet. They claim that there's no money for it, blah, blah, blah. The machines are constantly breaking down. They don't care. How many times are we going to have to deal with this problem? So, it's just a joke at this point.
Yeah, I guess I would ask, you said that like you yourself, you have been injured by some of the machinery in there. With all of this stuff, like what other recourse do you as workers feel like you even have? Obviously like everyone is aware of Amazon really dragging its feet as far as organizing goes, as far as, the union goes. What else can workers do at this point? What do you feel like you can do?
Exactly what we've been doing, because if you haven't heard recently, we got, one of us, her name's Samantha. She actually was leading the I want to say the fight or the mission to get better in ASL interpretations at Amazon. Don't remember all the details right now, but she did win that. She won. Okay. And we put her in a group of other ASL people plus the people who aren't like ASL. Like I know very little about ASL. I know very few signs. I'm trying to teach myself. But she kept at it. Like there was the recent march that we did was for that and for a safety campaign that we did. But again, that was a win that we got, along with the fact that a couple months back, we also got the win to wear headphones, Amazon approved headphones, which not everybody wears.
Okay.
I wear them because I don't like sticking headphones in my ears because they start to bother me. So I have to figure out another way to listen to my music at work.
Okay, so in-ear headphones or earphones. Okay.
Not like people have issues where they don't like having them. They get sore ears or they just a sensory issue, Amazon doesn't care about any of that stuff. But my thing is just keep doing what we're doing, It's very hard sometimes to recruit people, but every time we win, it's a step in the right direction. So Amazon can keep trying to fight against everything that we're doing, but we're not going anywhere. They could use all the money they want to union bust. We're going to keep going. And we're not going to give up until everybody gets what they need to get, what we deserve. This is just a very stressful place to work at this point. I've been there 4 years.
That's a long time.
4 years, and they're still dragging their feet. I joined the fight with the ALU to get our contract like around the time Chris Smalls started getting big, and then I continued on with Connor, Sultana, Pat, Brima, everybody involved. They're all an inspiration for the most part. They do a lot of good work. I'm actually proud of us every single time, even if it's a little victory. Our recent rally was so successful, and our win yesterday against them, it was like pretty amazing how quickly we got Amazon to cooperate. They're gonna be like, oh, we were gonna send them home or whatever. They were not gonna send us home. Not if people hadn't opened their mouths, we probably would have stayed to the end of the ship.